we want to see on the rundown. This first poll will have 4 options, then at 12:30 we'll see 4 new options, and the top 5 tickers will be featured on our rundown at 2 p.m. We'll see Obi and Neil's thoughts on your tickers of choice, guys.
I was just talking to Obi on the side over here about Tesla, because Tesla's working its way into VWAP, so I was getting a feel for how Ob was looking at TSLA. He's like, look, brother, I'm still long from the 348s. He's looking bullish right now. So shout out to Ob. I mean, I was looking at it simply because it had worked its way back into VWAP after being quite extended away from VWAP for a little bit. So we'll watch and see how this one dances with that 354.5, 355-ish. It's been a good look off that bottom ever since double bottoming in the mid 347s. I believe the low of the day is 347.65. It has put incrementally higher highs and higher lows, rounded bottom, whatever pattern you want to call it, or whatever description you want to give it. It's been on the way up, Joseph. So it's off, well off, obviously, that HOD that we printed in the pre at around mid 362s. We're about $10 or so, $9 or so, excuse me, lower than that level right now. But I'm keeping my eye on VWAP. Now, here's what I want to see. And this is by no means a hard and fast rule, but if I get the first 5-minute candle on a closing basis to make a new low below this bad boy over here, this 11:15 candle, that's a good look for me. Okay, it doesn't have to be based on this candle. I just need the first 5-minute candle to make a new low. So this one doesn't make a new low. Look where the wick is. It's well above the wick of the previous candle. So it may not be this 11:15 candle that I base my short on. It might be the 11:20 candle. We'll have to wait and see. I don't want to jump into the Cybertruck and get my face ripped off there, but we'll definitely keep an eye on this one. Joseph, you had a good look on AMD, though. It's about to do something funky that could change things for it on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. AMD looking like it's going to go for the higher day break. I like this name this morning, and if you go and check the video that we put that was posted on the channel, you will see my thesis that I had.
O rockzão bolado, hein?
Na terra de cinzas e solidão, minha companheira tem um chip no coração. Filhos de metal, sonhos digitais. Nas ruínas do que fomos, não voltamos mais. Perdidos, sozinhos.
Sim, esse é power metal. Esse é power metal mesmo. Mas tem outros também, tem um monte. E aí, tem várias animações que vamos junto, entendeu? Eu já tenho o videoclipe para cada um. E eu devo lançar hoje ainda, entendeu? Vai ficar maneiro. Vai ficar aí só de sacanagem, só pra eu falar pros outros que, olha aí, já lancei um álbum de algum bagulho, tá ligado? Tem esse também, ó, galera.
Essa cidade queimando, sem vilas pensando, como formigas no grande império. Em luzes de cristal em palácios dourados, homens ajoelhados, seus sonhos quebrados, com essa repetida afeição, só encontram desprezo e solidão. Só em mim voltar, e no fim de não pensar.
Vamos ver também essa música aí de mentalidade. Já que a gente tá vendo música, vou procurar essa música aí, mentalidade, ad, dá o cu até... Caralho. Essa eu quero escutar. Dan, você já comeu 3 mulheres ao mesmo tempo? 3 não, só 2. Calma aí, o que eu tenho que fazer? Tem que entrar aqui e no YouTube. Mentalidade, ad. Mentalidade, ad, dá o cu até pra Haddad. Deixa eu ver se tá tudo certo aqui, tudo certo. Já que tem videoclipe? Não sei.
Mentalidade é nós, chipado até Troias. festa, meu amigo, conheço até um umbigo. Top no fracasso, se bobear te passo laço. Top, meu amigo, cê fala até comigo. Mulher pra cá, pra lá, eu faço engravidar. Mulher de meu amigo, como até o Tadeu. A vida é dura, já levei muita picadura.
E come até o Tadeu? Não entendi isso aí, não.
Passa a carteira pra cá, papai só sabe roubar. Papai só sabe.
Como que fez a animação? Eu roubei do Creative Commons, né? Eu procuro animação que tem Creative Commons e eu roubo. Se tem Creative Commons, então eu posso usar. Simples assim, irmão.
Sabe roubar, passa a carteira pra cá, papai só sabe roubar. Papai só sabe roubar. A vida corre, Instagram, Face é nada ou morre. Olha o mundo cão, lancei um mega ladrão. Angola é escola, mamãe, sentar e rolar. Mulher pra minha veia, senta aqui na minha vela. Mentalidade é babão, Discord do pitacão. Adoro uma treta, veia gorda e cara de mutreta. Quem dispensa exército, papai aqui come até o décimo. Pagando bem que mal tem, papai mentalidade vem que vem. Eu sou rumores que...
Boa, boa, boa. Gostei também, gostei também. Agora a última, galera, pra gente partir. Mais uma aqui minha, né? Só pra... Mas daqui a pouquinho eu vou botar aí no ar. Essa aqui é profunda, hein, galera? Essa aqui é profunda e tem um belo...
Ruínas vastas, pão no chão, sonhos mortos, se ilusão, homens quebrados, lágrimas secas, terra vazia, almas cegas. Céu cinzento, luz se foi, chão estéril, nada mudou. Som de ecos, coração frio, homens caídos, perdidos no vazio. Tem a bota sem paixão, lá no alto Deus as mãos, sobre pó,
É isso aí,
passos
galera.
lentos, céu distante.
É isso aí. A animação também é muito maneira. Quem vê, tem um finalzinho maneiro também. Entendeu? Conheça essa animação. É isso aí. Essas animações, galera, são animações que estão em Creative Commons. Quer dizer que qualquer pessoa do YouTube pode pegar e reproduzir do jeito que quiser. E é claro que eu peguei para mim, né? Então, tamo aí. Tá aí. Tem mais 2 para terminar ainda. Tem 6 músicas e aí eu lanço aí de sacanagem, tá ligado? Só pra falar que eu tenho mesmo um álbum. É isso aí, galera. Obrigado aí todo mundo que apareceu. As notícias foram dadas. E é nóis, galera. Um abração aí todo mundo. E é nóis. Tiver dúvida, tiver qualquer coisa pra mandar lá no Instagram, Dangaguinrad, entendeu? E é nóis. Valeu, galera.
Mushroom é um cabo, canal que faz coach chora no banheiro, chora cocote. Mushroom gigante, aqui é Red Pill na veia, lampo por inteiro, real talk.
Social media just because of how addicting it is to like you just constantly looking at your phone. When I take the train in on the morning, I open my laptop and I do my due diligence, right?
Sure.
95%, I'll even go 99% of people are just like magnetized to the phone.
To the phone, 100%. Yeah.
So for me, it's like, yeah, all right.
Remember, she's not her. She's sleeping on the way.
So I try to limit the screen time sometimes, you know?
Look, what was I going to say? Yeah, I listened to the pods on the way down. Yeah. Stephen Bartlett in the morning. It's either Diary of a CEO or Lex Friedman. But Lex Friedman, bro, you got to earmark 4 hours. That dude goes deep.
He gets deep.
I love
He's like a
Lex
JP. He
Friedman,
gets
man.
like really deep.
100%, dude. And he's so calm and off-putting as an individual. You just gotta like him.
I went to the Jordan Peterson book signing last year.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
I went to Jordan Peterson May 2022 for my birthday with a buddy at Princess Margaret right by front. Man, it was the weirdest. I know we're digressing in the middle of trading, but it was the weirdest thing ever. Like the dude started getting emotional about his mother. Jordan Peterson, that is, and like his, and then they cut it off because it was overtime.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a dumbest time to stop when the man's getting emotional. What is this? Who's running the show here?
Exactly. Anyway, AMD did break high of day. Sorry, Sharif, we'll send it right back to you, brother. But AMD did break high of day briefly there and is slightly rejected. So we're gonna keep an eye on it, guys. You know what I'm gonna point out? That volume was starting to kick in there as we went and broke the high of day. So that's something that we definitely want to see. So that can give us a little more conviction that this might continue to the top side, because I'd say I'd like to bounce on AMD. I'm going to pull up the daily real quick, and then we're going to send it back to Sharif. But what my thesis was based off of was this pretty much isolated, close to isolated pivot. As you can see, we had the gap up, gap down, and then a gap up. And I'm like, if we can hold this, there's a potential bounce trade there without owning any outright shares. So that's why we create credit spreads, because we don't own anything. We just have the rights and obligations, and we can profit by non-directional price movement. Go ahead, my friend.
Yes, sir. Okay, so there we go. We just got our first print. Nice. On Snap. So we just got that one. Appreciate you, Ram. Looking for 11.98 now to get taken out. I guess somebody's doing well back there. It's likely Wayne. Can't talk about that trade, but it's all good. 11.98. So we'll keep an eye out on this level that I've got. Look, he's intense, bro. It's impossible not to talk about it because of him, right? Like, he's intense. You gotta love that. You gotta love that. Shout out to Wayners, man. Hope he's printing up multiple storms. So keeping my eye here.
Obi's gonna go out and figure it. Yeah, he wants to know what's going on.
Demanding to know.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Of course.
Sorry, brother.
Shout out to New York Cents. I was just talking to him in the chat about why I weaseled my way out of Qubit. It broke my VWAP level. So that's what we're looking at. So let's look quickly over here at the small cap gappers that have got up on the day. This could be a fluctuating or a changing list as some of these make it on, and then we remove them off if they give up the ghost. So the one that I like the most, obviously the one I'm involved in right now, SNAP. It's not a small cap gapper, but I'm trading it like one right now using VWAP. So we'll keep an eye out on that. The baddest of the movers on the day is QMCO, and it's not a new one, guys. We talked about this one towards the end of the show on Friday. It is a continuation play. You'll see. It had a fantastic day Friday. So from that pre-market area where we were hanging out at 8 a.m. to that 8 p.m. print, we were up a light 160%. You can add to that today another triple-digit day because we're up 131% on QMCO, and it behooves me to give you the information about this one. It is a $100 million market cap with about almost 21 million shares traded on the day and about 83 million share float. Let's bring this trade ideas down and find out what the short float is on this bad boy. 8.3%. Yeah, I apologize. But that is the excitement that we get around here. 18.3% of QMCO's float is borrowed for short. So this one could become quite parabolic, and I'll submit to you, it's already kind of done hints of that so far. What I'm looking for here is a new trend to establish because we're still in that lower low, lower high phase, possible, underline possible, double bottom at around 19 and change over here. It did make higher lows and higher highs. Could be a bit of a consolidation range at 2150 right now. QMCO, we'll keep tabs on that. No question about it. OPI Ram, where I was hoping to yell this one a lot. Like I thought maybe if it broke $2, I'd be trading it more because, you know, it's just got an affinity. OP, I wanted to yell it a lot like I typically yell OB, but it's breaking down below VWAP, Joseph, so this ain't my look. It's going to have to reclaim that level. Qubit, shout out to New York Cents. Look, man, if Qubit wants to take back VWAP and give me some higher highs and higher lows with which to work, I'll absolutely re-engage this one. But put some respect on it. It's been running for weeks now, not days. Quantum computing is hot. Don't know why and don't care. But the fact of the matter is 780 is where VWAP is, and it also happened to be the top end of the implied balance high, or that opening print high. It gave up the ghost, but it's putting a quadruple bottom now on the 5 at around 7 2/3. We'll see if this one can kind of curl its way back up. QUBT will be certainly on watch. But who remembers Kodak from 2020 and 2021? I do. Degen Trading, small cap gapper over here. Neil, tell me you remember Kodak. Yes, he gave me the nod. He knows what happened. And in case you don't know what happened, let me show them, Ram. Here it is. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is the weekly, just to give you an idea of what this monster can do. It was $2.30 one week, and then it decided to wake up one morning, Joseph, and work its way up to 60 bucks. Clearly, it didn't hang out at that price for all that long, but the point is to show you that this monster can move. KODK. Yes, it is the old film that you put in the cameras. It is that company, and they're still around. I don't know why, but they're moving up today, Joseph. 23.6.
Kodak Black, man.
Oh, Kodak. What is it, the reason, Ram? Tell us.
Yeah. Oh.
Why is it? Is it because all the Gen Zs now just want to pretend like they're living in the 90s and are taking cameras like they were in the 90s? You guys are not from the 90s. Stop wearing baggy clothes like we were in the 90s. It's 2024. I'm talking to you, Ram. Just joking. What are you looking at, Joseph?
Yeah, no, you know what? I was like, Opie was a familiar name, and and it finally came to me. It's one of the guys off of Sons of Anarchy. So I'm glad that I correlated that. So that was a good show back then. But guys, as of we're in some NVDA here still, and we're holding on to some IBIT as well too. So both of these trades are starting to work out for us, which is really, really nice. But let me pull up NVDA here and tell you just kind of why I decided to get into it. I was looking for a potential bounce on this thing for the past couple of days, and then I think finally after we just sat and we waited for the selling. But as you can see from the 5-minute range, I thought as soon as we sat on top of this resistance here, I'm like, okay, maybe we can go and test VWAP again. And sure enough, we did. So that's what I was keeping my eye on. We did put in that potential bottom. The volume did start to step in a little bit, but I was just happy that we sat on top of that range, and that was the ability to a confirmation for me to take along. I'm going to keep my eye out on this indecision candle right above VWAP as well too. You always have to keep an eye out on those because that means it could potentially turn around or a deeper pullback than I like. But again, I'm glad that NVDA bounced. I know a lot of people in the chat were looking for the NVDA bounce. So we got that, guys. But again, I took out the majority of my position. We'll hold the rest to break even, and we'll take it from there, right? But again, if this market continues to rebound, AMD is selling quite heavy off of that high a day break. And some of the other stocks, Tesla's pulling back. It kind of rejected VWAP as well too. So again, we're gonna have to kind of just wait and see. I mean, the Qs are weaker than SPY right now. So just keep that in mind. It's being dragged down by these mega cap tech stocks. So I'm going to keep an eye on this NVDA. We don't got too much more room, another quarter, and then we're going to get stopped out break even. But then again, I'm still sitting in some IBIT. We still have a little bit of leeway here on this one, guys. But we'll send it off to Adara, and then we'll take a look at some more of the mega caps.
What we're going to do here is take a look at some of these earnings plays. We're going to look at day one earnings and then names that are set to report either tonight or tomorrow morning. So we're going to see what's happening here for day two. Let's kick it off here with Bath & Body Works. This was basically the main major report that we got today. They did report a beat here for EPS and for sales. Their sales grew on a year-over-year basis, so that was a positive. They had their guidance here. They are expecting a Q4 net sales decline here on a year-over-year basis. Their EPS here kind of mixed. Generally, the higher end definitely beat their guidance there, or beat the expectations there. So they're guiding between 194 and 207 versus estimates of 197. Now, let's talk here as well about their fiscal 2024 guidance, because they actually did increase their guidance. Initially, they were looking for a decline of 2 to 4% for net sales on a year-over-year basis. Now they're seeing a decline of 1.7 to 2.5%. So smaller than expected decline. They also upwardly revised their EPS guidance. The other earnings report, or something close to an earnings report we have to talk about, is Macy. They actually delayed their Q3 earnings release because they have basically an accounting issue. This is apparently an intentional accounting issue. Someone who worked in their small package deliveries area apparently intentionally concealed $132 to $154 million worth of delivery expenses. This lasted about 3 years. So Q4 2021 to Q3 2024, the employee is no longer with the company, apparently. The company did report preliminary net sales decrease here of 2.4% on a year-over-year basis. Also, apparently, decrease in comparable sales. So, preliminary report from Macy's, not too great there. Let's talk about earnings on watch. Zoom, the big one, reporting here after the bell. Analysts are looking for earnings of $1.32 per share and revenue of $1.16 billion. Let's also talk here about the earnings before the bell because it's a doozy. We've got Kohl's, KSS, ANF here, Abercrombie & Fitch, Best Buy, BBY, Dick's Sporting Goods, DKS, among others. So lots of retail favorites on Watch Tomorrow Morning, guys.
Dara, appreciate that, Adara. I was trying to short Tesla here, already got stopped out. This is so strong. Bounced off the closing print from yesterday at 352.50. So I'm going to look to get back in at 354 and a third, 354 and a quarter. That's where VWAP is, and it's putting in a holding pattern at that level. I'm still kind of biased to the short side over here, so I'm going to look to get in at a bit of a better price, the 354 and a quarter to 354.50. A bit of a tight range right now between where VWAP is at 354.40 and that 352 and 2/3, which is the closing print from Friday. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Definitely looking at getting back into this monster over here. Would like to take this down. But we did do a 20,900 defend. So we're putting incrementally higher lows and higher highs on the NQ December contract with VWAP projecting for now. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm actually over here looking at Meta and Google. I mentioned to you this, I mentioned Google to you, but one thing that I want to point out here on Meta, and this thing needs a leveraged ETF or something. Same with Netflix, so we can get in on this thing with a little bit cheaper of a price. But guys, I'm just gonna point one thing out. If anybody else recognizes it, again, I sound like a broken record over and over again, but these signals continuously print. You'll see them consistently. They happen multiple times a week, a day, whatever the price action may be. But guys, you know what I'm going to look at? We have a really strong opening drive on Meta. And then sure enough, at an extreme, when the overall market is selling, you put in this inverted hammer, this gravestone, whatever you would like to call it, a hanging man, whatever you would like to call it. And then sure enough, it sells, all right? So these are the type of signals that I'm going to be keeping an eye out always, because those are my reversal signals. If I'm not trading at VWAP, I'm gonna wait for an indecision print at an extreme high or an extreme low. And it's unfortunate that this thing is a little bit out of my price range to trade. But again, Meta on that short, it was really, really nice. I like that there. And then I was looking at Google as well too here, guys. For a potential flat bottom break, as Sharif would like to call it. But I don't know if it's going to happen because this thing is pretty strong. Let's see if these support levels can hold. If a candle opens up below the support levels, then that might get me interested for a short. But again, I don't necessarily always want to be shorting these mega cap tech stocks because they can catch a bid at any minute and then some volume can get in. Some people would say, hey, Joe, that looks like a bear flag to me. Sure, I mean, whatever you want to call it, let's play the price action as it plays out. But again, we hold these levels, we can continue. As you can see, we're kind of forming lower highs here on the descent, but then we have this definitive support level, all right? So let's see where the volume steps in, either to the downside or to the top side. But I think a potential break can be in the midst with Google. But I just want to point one thing out here as well, too, guys, on my IBIT trade. Why did I take IBIT at the bottom? Am I catching a falling knife? I don't know, maybe, but look at the price action. What do we have in an extreme low? It sold off for the first half an hour of the session or so, even more, and then put in this indecision candle, this hammer doji at an extreme low. This can signify, hey, we might be ready to turn around. Guys, we did the VPA lesson 2 weeks ago. Keep that in mind. Go back and watch it and understand these signals or start doing some research on your own because they are so key to learning how to pick tops and bottoms if that's the type of your trader you're looking to be, because now you can correlate the volume with the price. And then sure enough, you can build a playbook off of this. And I only have so many trades in my playbook, right? I don't want to have this vast playbook. I like to trade at VWAP, and I like to trade these extreme signals, all right? And gap fills. That's it. That's what I stick to. That's my focus. And I try to execute those as best as I can, and then make as much as I can when I am executing those trades, my guy. What are you cooking up there?
I like it, man. We're still in this Tesla trade. It took a couple of beak wetters still, and I've got that another order to add at 354 because it's been ranging for a hot minute. But you know, even if the fact that it's ranging is one thing, but we're not really getting it's hard for me to discern a trend. So if there's obviously a sideways movement here. I'm trying to gauge whether the bears or bulls are in control at this level. It's kind of really hard to tell. So there we go. Now we're really flushing. Okay, so we just got a couple of prints there. Still a little bit upset, Joseph, because I didn't get my ad at 354, despite the fact that, you know, there was multiple opportunities to get that ad. Good look right now on Tesla.
But I like the top of the. I like how you grab the top of the range.
Yeah, I really tried.
Yeah.
So we'll look to do a little bit better. How many outs? We've got a few outs over here. So let's set up another out south of 353. We'll look to take it, you know, in the mid 90s or something like that to account for possible liquidity grab on Tesla right now. So here we go, zigging and zagging with that 20 penny area. However, we're getting a 20,900 defend on the fuge. So that works against my position. If your opinion or if your bias is that, you know, Tesla marches to the beat of the drum of the overall market, doesn't always work that way. Certainly, anybody who's traded Tesla before knows it has more of an independent twist to it, but sometimes they do run together, and that's when you get in trouble trying to go against the market. So that's what we're wetting our beak for right now on the short. We're short at 52s. I was able to cover into 53s. We still have a few more outs, looking for this one to bleed a little bit more. And as I see it, it's been about 15 minutes since we touched VWAP. The last time we actually got, into the volume weighted average price on TSLA was 11:30. So we're going on 18 minutes now of no touches. Here we go with 53s again. Let's see if we're able to break the whole dollar level. I'm waiting in the mid 90s, so I should be able to get the print if we actually just drop below 53s. It looks like somebody's buying at 53s. We'll have to pack our patience there. Let's look for Snapchat, over here. Very consolidative, unusually consolidative. I didn't think that they would hold so long at VWAP. We're unable to get a 98 print. The best we could do so far was 96s. It did work its way up to 97, but we did not have an order in and around there. And bang! Down into Tesla we go. We're almost $1 in the money on this one, Joseph. Let's set up in the mid 50s over here. Boom! We just got that quickly. But look at that. Look at that. It just moves right back up super quick. So the Cybertruck really moving here. Well, both to the upside and the downside, but mostly to the downside. We got the print at 70s. We're still waiting for the print in the mid 50s for that dollar winner. We're going to have to pack our patience here on the Cybertruck. It's now flat on the day, 0.08, and it looks like somebody's buying at around 2/3 to 3/4 of a dollar area because it's unable to descend below that. So TSLA certainly on watch, but stuck within a range. So that's what I'm trading it as right now. I'm not trading it as a breakout or a breakdown, but simply as a range between the closing print on Friday and the volume weighted average price. That's my look right now. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, good stuff here. I just got out of my NVDA trade. It stopped me out break even. We got some partials off on that one, so it's pretty nice. It rejected VWAP and then decided to move to the south side. So keep that in mind. So again, we got that move. We got the range break there. Let's see if we can hold that was once resistance is now support. So if we can hold support, we don't get that selling pressure to step in, then I do think that we can rebound and potentially curl around and then go back to the top side, all right? Keep that in mind, guys. It's a possibility. I think it's almost due. I mean, the market can stay irrational for a lot longer. But I mean, I think at some point this stock is going to bounce. You just have to be able to keep yourself in a position where you're able to take advantage of that, all right? So we got out of that now. No reason to make a winning trade, a losing trade. And then now we can wait to see if we're going to turn back around. If volume steps into the top side, then we get back into that position. But as of right now, we are pulling back. We rejected VWAP. I mentioned the candle above it. So keep that in mind. We are starting to pull back now, but there can always be another opportunity. And speaking of opportunities, IBIT, what are we doing? I don't know. We're saying we're pulling back on a lot of things right now, and Google is starting to reach the bottom of that range again that I mentioned, where volume decides to step in and it breaks that prior support level, then I think there can be a potential leg down on that one. So if the mag caps are selling, look for the overall index, and chances are it's going to be selling as well too. But other than that, we're going to keep our eye on Google and IBIT to see if we can continue, as well as NVDA. But let's take a look at the cues here, guys. I mean, still a little shy off of that all-time high, not like the SPY. The SPY touched all-time highs today. Perfect, just around 600, I think. Let's see, let's get an exact number, 601-ish, yeah, 601.03, and then it started to sell off. So we did make a new all-time high on the SPY, but then it by just a couple cents, but then it did reject, all right, guys? So keep that in mind. We'll keep an eye on the overall indexes. I know indices, I guess, or whatever you would like to call it, but I know Adara mentioned XLF, and I had a JPM trade that I really liked, and it gapped up again, but from a sector standpoint, this thing is absolutely phenomenal. Sell puts against this thing as much as you can. This is something you would want to own for the long term, these sector ETFs. But again, a little red on the session with XLF. Sharif, what do you got going on there?
I'm looking at KULR, but I just got my ad on Tesla. So now we're short 82. So now I've got to wet my beak, possibly here, and set up new stops. So we're going to go. I just have to throw it to you to adjust my stop.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
for one
absolutely.
quick
Yeah, no problem, guys.
Yeah.
So let's take a gander at Google. As you can see, we do have this this definitive level of support, and then we do have the higher lows, or sorry, the lower highs there, guys. But again, keep in mind, if volume steps into one side, I'm gonna look to play this. We have this price compression that I really, really like, and then when the volume steps in, it can give you a definitive direction in which way this stock can potentially move. Yes, there can be potential fakeouts on these types of patterns, but keep in mind, when it really steps in, you'll be able to identify the fakeout, price reverses whatever direction it's going, and then that volume steps in, and then you can base yourself a scalp trade or a trend continuation trade on this one. So let's see what Google is up to for the foreseeable future, the next couple minutes, if it decides to chop around a little bit more, or we get that volume influx, guys. So that's something that I'm going to keep in mind. RKLB, someone mentioned in the chat. Let's take a look at RKLB, Rocket Lab. Yeah, oh yeah, I know. West, y'all. Yeah, I know you like Rocket Lab. I know this is your stock. Yeah, congratulations on that one. I know I don't know if you said you had any calls on it or anything like that, but again, we're getting the volume on the breakout. We did have this potential turnaround signal. It blew past it. Thesis invalid. Fine. But guess what we're getting now? I really like this signal. We're extremely extended to the top side. Let's see how this print finishes at the end of the day. But I do think for the foreseeable future, and guys, hold me accountable, I do think that Rocket Labs, from seeing what I'm seeing right now, has a potential turnaround in the coming days, my friend. Show me what you got going.
Yes, so we're doing well, man. We're like 50 pennies in the money over here on the ad. Added at 354. Really happy with this trade. Fat finger too, just to add icing to the cake, baby. So we're still doing well, even with the fat finger over here. All right, here we go. We're short. Oh, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
What happened, bro?
I went long on it. I'm acting stupid today. I'm not really looking at my position sizing, so I had to flatten out there. All right, so bad execution, good idea. In any event, I'm gonna try to regroup over here, keep my eye on Snapchat, because that's the one I've got right now. Did dip into 1190. So now I'm asking myself, if this is gonna hold on to 1190 for a hot minute, why am I not adding at this level and then just playing the range? Because I'm not getting the breakout on Snapchat. So if it's gonna respect 1188, 1190, or wherever the hell people are buying this, I should be adding here and just trading it as a range, and then keeping a tight stop below 85s or 84s. 1185s, 1184s is what I'm talking about on Snap, because it's not giving me the breakout. So I think I'm gonna account for that. I'm gonna set up a dip trade at 88s to do just that. So we'll look to do that in a second. I wanted to talk though about the one that I like going up right now in Mag 7 world. It goes by the name Amazon. Amazon's got a nice little upward channel here that we could basically gauge from the pre-market. And aside from this opening range where we have a lot of volume taking place, it's been very respectful of this upward channel, both as a level of support and resistance. I hope you guys can see that on my chart. Let me make these lines a bit thicker over here so that everybody can kind of get the idea of what I'm trying to show. An upward channel right now on AMZN. And it's been, you know, for the most part respectful, aside, again, from this pop up there into 201.95, which is essentially the high of the day. Comes right back down and reinstates, well, not reinstates, but just starts re-respecting the channel that we had put it into. So what I want to see is if we get a 201 break, because it doesn't look like we're going to get it quite yet, if it is to reject off this upward channel. So I could play the range on Microsoft, but here's the thing. So if you've got an upward channel, let me put this to the chat. I really want to hear what they have to say. If you have an upward channel and you know that it's been respecting the up band and the low band, which trade do you choose? Do you trade the short off the top band or the long off the bottom, the bottom band? And here's why I'm asking that. Because I think that there is not just one right answer. That's not what I'm trying to say. I think that there's one better answer than the other. If something's up 1.85%, why would you want to take the short and kind of put the trend against you rather than taking the long off the bottom end? Here's what I mean, Ram. So if we're kind of looking at these two lines right here, from which Amazon has been very respectful, the question I'm asking is, do you take the short off the top trend line or do you take the long off the bottom trend line? I personally want to take the long off that 200 possibly because it's up 1.9%. So I don't want to be sitting here trying to short it and then get the breakout trade through the top end of the channel and then I'm stopped out. I'd rather go with the trend and wait till it weasels down into around 200. Now, you may not get that because, again, it's trending up, so we could get the breakout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for that 200 possible bounce on AMZN and look for the long there. Let's see what people have to say. I kind of do both, says Jay. I have been long and short 10 times on SMCI for a $1 winner each time via SMCX. Shout out to you, Jay. I know you're printing up a storm on that. Let's see what other people said. New York City Urbanisa, she says long. I agree. I agree with you. Jason, long with the trend. Taxman, long. Come on sense, long off the top. Miss Lucia, long. Brad Dietz, long. ACK. I know, well, yeah, I know. Come on sense, I like that. Good pickup, Ram. Everybody is basically kind of saying the way that I thought you guys would say, is go with the trend. If you have a respectful channel, you know, use it, but use it in the direction that it's going. It's pointing up, it's not pointing down. So great, I like that. Okay, so that's a good look there. So we'll look to basically weasel in at 200 on Amazon or thereabouts. I mean, it may not be 200 on the dot because by the time it makes it down there, it could be a little bit higher. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put an alert for Amazon. Let's just put it at around 25s, that $0.25. So we'll be made, we'll have about 25 pennies advance notice, if that even. So I wanted to mention AAPL started the day awfully strong. It is now awfully weak. Look at this. The bleeding continues here on Apple, 233.25 HOD, and there has been no respect for any of these moving averages or VWAP. It's kind of been dancing and moving to the beat of its own drum. If the only area that I can really see price action support was this 231.75. It was an area crest at around 850 in the pre-market. We dipped down, we held that level, we moved back up above VWAP, but just ended up breaking it again. So AAPL not really respecting trend. Possible long though on Apple at 230. I think it's been kind of using 230 as a level of resistance lately until this day over here, until today when we decidedly broke it above. So Apple, even though it looked dead, look at this upward trend, upward channel that we've been putting on Apple on the daily. 230, I'm looking long here on Apple if it does work down there. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm over here looking at Google. We are potentially about to break some support here that I mentioned. So we have the flat bottom break potentially coming up here on Google. So let's see if that volume starts. See, there we go, bang, and it's starting to move to the downside there. Flat bottom break. I'm not in it quite yet, Sharif.
My bad.
But we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait and see because it could be a potential fake out. I really want to see that momentum kick in, that volume step in, especially if we're gonna break these levels. But we're gonna come back and take some more of a look at Google right after we get back from Madeira.
What we're going to do here is take a look and see what the market's done so far today. We do have here on the S&P 500 and the